Hello everyone and welcome back to another must-see chess game by Raul Capablanca, who had the white pieces in this chess game, and his opponent was Erik Lundin. You may never heard the name of Erik Lundin, but he was actually one of the most dominated chess players from Sweden. He was one of the most dominant because he won the chess championship of Sweden in 10 different occasions. He was the 10 times chess champion of Sweden, and I believe that's a record. So this chess game happened in a chess clock simul, 7-board chess simul of Capablanca from 1928. So which means Capablanca was also racing against time when he was dealing against 7 chess players simultaneously, and all of his opponents, all of the chess players that Capablanca faced simultaneously were the chess champions of Sweden. So 6 of those players had been or would become the national champions of Sweden. Capablanca changed colors. He didn't always play with the white pieces. Usually the master who gives these kinds of simuls, usually they play against chess amateurs and they always play with the white pieces, but Capablanca was facing 7 of the best players of Sweden simultaneously, and he didn't always play with the white pieces, so that was quite a challenge because he was also racing against time. And he won 5 games and lost 2. The chess players who has managed to defeat Capablanca were Gustav Stoltz, who was the current chess champion of Sweden at that time, and Karl Olafsson. Capablanca defeated Erik Lundin, Gustav Dahl, Gustav Nylen, 7 times Swedish chess champion Gustav Nylen, by the way, Gidon Stallberg. You might heard the name of Stallberg as he was a very strong chess player, especially in 1940s, 50s, and he also defeated Ellen Nielsen. So Erik Lundin, his opponent that you see his picture at the top right, he was actually a very strong chess master, a chess grandmaster from Sweden. He won at least 1 game. He defeated at least 1 time one of the legendary chess players such as David Bronstein, Max Euwe, Ruben Fine, Solo Flor, Rudolf Spielmann, and Miguel Najdorov. He has managed to defeat all these players at least 1 time in his chess career. So I like to tell you that all of those players, especially chess players like David Bronstein, Miguel Najdorov, these guys were exceptionally good chess players, and in a given day, in a very good day, they could even defeat a very strong super chess grandmaster of today. So this shows how strong Capablanca was. So he was dealing against very strong chess players simultaneously. Sorry for this long introduction, but I like to give some informations in this special video. So let's see what happened. Capablanca starts the game with e4, we have e5, knight to f3, and we have the Spanish game, and very standard actually, and then developing the pieces, we have rook to e1. By the way, in this position, if knight takes on e4, then rook to e1, so developing the bishop, rook to e1, and then b5, and this is known as the closed Spanish. Defending the bishop, d6 and c3, making room for the bishop and defending the bishop, c5 and then d4 by Capablanca, charging at the center and pinning the knight, asking a question and then fixing the d pawn. Black castled and Capablanca is relocating his knight. It looks like a fairly closed position, as you can see, and pushing the g pawn. This is one of the first exciting moves of this chess game. Attacking the bishop, bishop goes back, and then knight to g3, activating the knight, knight to d7, and then h4. The first big threat in this chess game. What is the threat? Well, the threat is very simple, h5 and trapping the bishop. So black is defending, pushing the pawn and making room for the bishop. Capablanca is still pushing the pawn and defending the bishop, and then a4, attacking from the queen side. Attacking, pushing the pawn and attacking the a pawn. Capablanca is defending, and then g6. So look at this position. Actually, it is a very close position, and the dark square bishop, the queen, and also the knight is looking very passive. So in this position, pushing the pawn, and black wants to open the game. He wants to open the game, but I believe Capablanca happily captured the pawn, and this is opening the h-file. King to g2, and he is going to swing his rook over to h1 and attack the king. So bishop to d7, a very natural move, targeting the g-pawn. Capablanca played a multi-purpose move, both developing the knight, attacking the pawn, and defending the g-pawn. So defending the pawn with the king. In this position, you might say, what happens if pushing the pawn? That is going to weaken the light squares. As you can see, knight to g6 is a possibility, so is knight to f5. So defending with the king. Okay, so this is one of the critical moments of this chess game, and Capablanca played an amazing move. Well, he decided to sacrifice his knight. Knight from g to f5 by Jose Raul Capablanca. And black accepted the sacrifice, so let's see what happens if not capturing the knight. If, let's say, king to f7, can you see what happens in this position? Then knight takes on e7, after king takes knight, capturing the pawn, forking the king and the rook, and this is all over, and black is ready for another game. Actually, this is losing. So in this position, as you can see, black maybe have to capture the knight, but of course black has to defend the bishop if moving the king, but that is just simply all over. This is just losing by force. Okay, so let's take it back. So this was the idea of Capablanca. So why did he sacrifice the knight? Black is accepting the sacrifice, but Capablanca is closing the door to black. Actually, look at black's pieces. Black is pacified, the knight, the queen, both of the bishops, they are all stuck, and you can't activate neither of these pieces. So we have rook to g8. What happens if king to f7? Then Capablanca would say, okay, you can run, but you can't hide. Queen to h5, king to g8, check, king to h8, and then rook to h1. And pinning the queen to the king, but it is too late because of knight to f3, check, mate. And in this position, after checking the king, rook to h1, if rook goes down, something like that, which doesn't make any sense. Of course, checking the king and then checkmate. So basically there is no defense. Capturing, so there is no possibility for escaping for the king. Rook to g8, queen to h5, a very important move by Capablanca, closing the light diagonal. Bishop to e8, attacking the queen, and knight to g6 by Capablanca, and we have bishop to d8. In this position, capturing the knight is not a good idea because of queen takes on g6. If king to h8, then rook to h1 is checkmate. So if king to f8, then the bishop will join the party, bishop to h6, rook to g7, and then capturing, and basically this is getting checkmated by force. Okay, so in this position, bishop to e8, knight to g6, you can take the knight, bishop goes back, and then king to f3 by Jose Raul Capablanca, and after this move, black actually resigned, because how to deal with rook to g1, attacking the king, a flawless victory for Capablanca, a very beautiful, elegant touch by Capablanca. So as you can see by looking at this example, Capablanca was not always positional, calm endgame player. Sometimes if needed, he could play tactical and aggressive chess. As you can see in this example, with sacrificing his knight, he created a clunky, clumsy position, a crumpy position for his opponent. So let me show you the possible continuation. Let's say if capturing the pawn, then rook to g1, and black has no good moves. So if capturing one more, then we have check, king to f8, check, and basically black is getting checkmated by force. So in this position, there is no defense. If hoping to flee, then king to e2, a prophylactic move. And then let's say capturing the pawn, and then check, 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 basically checkmate. In just few moves, there is force checkmate. So what do you think about this chess game by Capablanca? After this move, Black realized the danger. The 10 times chess champion of Sweden realized that this is all over. Capablanca was basically exceptionally good. He was extremely strong, and this is just one example. So what do you think? This was one of the key moments of the game. Capablanca sacrificed his knight and then captured back with the g-pawn. This also opens the g-file. The h-file is also open. And this gives white a lot of attacking prospects. So as you can see, this is just basically all over. After king to f3, in just few moves after sacrificing the knight, Black resigned. And thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time with more interactive chess games. Stay safe, take care, and bye bye.